Hey, welcome. Have you ever met someone who just glows? It's not about their looks or some over-the-top charisma. It's this magnetic, positive energy that just radiates from them. Well, that's what we're going to unpack today. We're diving into the work of Aveline Darmont, who actually studied these radiant people to figure out the exact habits that create that inner light.
So let's get right into it. What is their secret? I think it's a question we've all asked ourselves. We all know that person. They walk into a room and you can just feel the shift. The vibe just gets better. It's this aura, this presence that's both calming and energizing at the same time. So what if that glow wasn't some big secret, but actually a skill, something that anyone could learn?
Well, that is exactly what we're exploring. Now, Aveline Darmont's original observations focused on women, and what she found was fascinating. She identified 7 specific, totally observable habits they all seem to share. And these aren't some vague personality traits. They are concrete actions and mindsets that we can actually learn from.
All right, let's get into the good stuff, starting with what's called the inner foundation. Because this is really where it all begins. Before any of that light can shine outward, this foundation has to be rock solid. So we're going to cover the first 2 habits right here, and they are all about the relationship you build with yourself. So check this out. Habit number 1, it's all about making a conscious choice to just opt out of negativity. Look at these 2 columns here. They actively avoid criticism, jealousy, and gossip. And instead, they embrace things that are constructive, they show admiration, and they offer support. It means when you're talking with them, the conversation builds people up. It's always enriching, never ever tearing others down.
And that builds right into the second habit, which is all about internal coherence. Luminous people are just so trustworthy, and it's because their actions are always aligned with their words. There are no weird surprises with them because what you see is what you get. The person they are on the inside is exactly who they show to the world.
And because of that coherence, you get this really powerful sense of authenticity. They're not afraid to state their own opinion or even disagree with you. And it doesn't come from a place of aggression at all. It's because they're so secure in who they are and what they value. They just stand by it. And that gives them this quiet, unshakable confidence.
Okay, so once you have that solid inner foundation, it just naturally starts to show on the outside, right? And that brings us to our second section, the outer expression. This part is all about how that internal state translates into a physical presence that people can actually see and feel. We're talking habits 3 and 4 here. This brings us to habit number 3, and this one is so important. Now, what's really interesting here is that this isn't about hitting the gym to look a certain way. It's about building foundational healthy habits. Because they just get that true radiance is an inside job. They prioritize their sleep, they eat well, they have their own little hobbies or activities that are just for them, and they avoid excess. They are literally nourishing their body because it's the vessel for all that good energy. And this right here, this really gets to the core of it. You just can't fake this kind of glow. How you feel internally, whether you're rested, nourished, and balanced, it directly shows up in your posture, in your skin, even in the tone of your voice. It's this undeniable physical proof of self-respect and well-being. All right, the 4th habit. This one might sound super simple, but trust me, its effect is huge. It's about looking someone in the eyes when you speak to them. But this isn't some kind of power move or an intimidation tactic. No, it's a signal of something way deeper and much more meaningful. And here is why that eye contact matters so much. It's a sign that they are 100% present with you in that moment. They're not distracted, they're not thinking about what they're going to say next. When they listen, they are really listening. And it makes you feel seen and valued and truly heard in a way that is just so rare and incredibly powerful. Okay, and this brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, the energetic signature. This is where that inner foundation and the outer expression all come together to create that unique, magnetic aura we were talking about. This section covers our last 3 habits, 5, 6, and 7, which really define how these luminous people interact with the world on a whole other level.
Habit number 5 is an absolute game changer. When a luminous woman sees another woman succeed, her immediate gut reaction isn't to compare or feel jealous. It's genuine admiration. She celebrates that person's success and offers her sincere support. It's like she knows that another person's light doesn't dim her own. It just helps make the whole world brighter.
Now, the sixth habit is all about tapping into what the source calls feminine energy. And listen, it's so important to get this right. This has absolutely nothing to do with gender. It's a mode of being that's in all of us. Think of it as the energy of être, which means to be, which beautifully balances the energy of faire, which means to do. So our seventh and final habit is really about living this energy. It shows up as softness, as patience, as attentiveness. These women are just so deeply anchored in the present moment. So while a more masculine energy is often about action and drive, which is also amazing and vital, this radiant energy comes from a place of calm, creativity, and a really courageous presence. It's what makes being around them feel so peaceful.
So where does that leave us? Well, it brings us to the most important question. How do we cultivate our own aura? As we bring all 7 of these habits together, it becomes pretty clear they aren't just a random checklist. They're an interconnected system. Each one builds on the others to create and sustain that positive, luminous energy.
And honestly, this is the most empowering part of this whole thing. This kind of radiance, it isn't something you're just born with or without. Your aura is the direct result of the energy that you choose to cultivate through conscious, positive habits every single day. From the negative thoughts you refuse to engage with, all the way to how you listen to a friend. So that leaves us with one final, really powerful question for you. Looking at these 7 habits, which one really speaks to you right now? What is the first small step you can take, maybe even today, to start intentionally cultivating and igniting your own unique light? Because as we've seen, the power is completely in your hands.